there was one other person who stayed in this dorm with me. She was here the last 2 nights. And she was completely unhinged. I didn't really realize this until we talked yesterday. She came in late the night before. But I knew there was something off. She was just doing very odd things. And then yesterday, like evening-ish before nighttime, she clogs the toilet. And then she comes out and she's like, hey, the toilet's clogged. And I was like, oh, great. And then she starts to blame me for it, even though, you can hear things in there. Like, I could tell she did it. And because she found my, I'd put on a face mask, like one of those skincare face masks. And she found the package, and she's like, did you throw this in the toilet? Not the outer package she found. She was like, did you throw the face mask itself into the toilet? Like the cottony part, that put on your face? And I was like, no, like, you're not supposed to flush things down the toilet. I threw it in the garbage. And then she goes through the garbage because she clearly doesn't believe me, which is fair, like, she doesn't know me. And then she comes back and she's like, I didn't see it. Can you show it to me? So she's been completely blatant in how she's accusing me of lying, basically. So I'm like, well, you looked in the wrong garbage because there are 2 garbage cans in this room. And I said, I put it in that one. She can see it. It's literally lying on top. Doesn't say anything further than that. Not like, oh, I'm sorry, or, oh, I see it, or nothing. And she's like, well, what should we do about the toilet? And I'm like, I mean, you have 2 options, right? Because we don't have a plunger, so you can either let it sit and hope it situates itself, or we can go talk to management. And she was like, okay. Proceeds to do nothing. I'm like, whatever. Not my problem. There's other bathrooms. Like, it'll solve itself. That wasn't the unhinged part. That was just the part where I'm like, what is wrong with you? The unhinged part is then we're going to bed, and our beds are like, this is hers. She's gone now, but the curtains are closed. And then you guys are sitting on mine. So we're like right across from each other. And when the curtains are open, you're like, I don't know, maybe 3 feet apart from each other. And so I'm getting ready for bed, She had been playing her ukulele for 2 hours in the room, by the way. And so I'm trying very obviously to get ready for bed in hopes that she'll get the idea and then I won't have to be like, hey, can you stop playing, whatever. She did. So that was great. Like, she stopped playing. I started getting into bed. And she gets into bed and then she starts talking. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is when we're gonna get to know each other and it won't be so weird. In fact, the opposite happens. I don't even know how to explain this conversation. Other than that, it's clear there was something going on. I don't know what. But she was not thinking rationally. She went on 8 different tangents at once. It took her way too long to tell a story. Like, a story that she could tell in 1 minute took 20, because she kept going back and reversing and repeating herself and just all over the place. It was really weird. And we were talking, I mean she was talking at me and I was just politely going like this for over an hour, close to an hour and a half. I learned absolutely nothing about her other than the fact that she's been living in hostels for years. And she's from Ireland. I asked what she did a few times, and she just, missed it. I asked maybe, 3 questions, and each time she would be talking and talking and talking and talking. There'd be a break. I'd ask the question. She'd talk. She'd come back to the question, maybe. She came back to it, once, and she was like, oh, what'd you say? And then I would repeat it, and then she would maybe answer it, or she'd go off on a different tangent. Boy... We covered maybe 3 topics the entire hour and a half. Most of that was her talking about a video she saw on some social media that had no relevance whatsoever to anything. And I don't know why she was telling me about this and why she felt the need to talk about it for that long. And then she wanted to show it to me and she said it was a half-hour long video, and I was like, I'll look it up on my own. homegirl, I'm trying to go to bed. It was so odd. And it freaked me out a little bit because I was like, this person is clearly not well. Something is going on. And I'm sharing this room with her and no one else. So it took me like 2 hours after that to go to sleep because I was genuinely terrified that she was going to do something crazy, which is kind of silly because she'd been there the night before and not done anything. But I was just like, what is wrong with this person? Luckily, she's gone. She has left today to go to a birthday party, which one of the questions I asked her, because she was like, oh, I'm going down to Waterford for a birthday party. And I was like, oh, is your family from Waterford? Because at this point I knew she was from Ireland. And she was like, no, my brother lives in Waterford. And then she goes off on a tangent about how, you know, talking about like if they died and how that wouldn't be ideal. It wasn't even like she was saying like, oh, I love my family. It was like, you know, if they died, that'd be bad. It was very, very odd. I was like, I literally just asked if your family was from Waterford. I don't need to know that you don't support them dying. God, I wish I had recorded some of that because that was the most absolutely batshit crazy stuff I've ever had someone talk to me for an hour and a half. Like, it was literally like those, you know, 1 or 2 minute conversations you have with somebody who's very clearly taken something and they are no longer in their right mind. And you don't know why they're talking to you. And they clearly think that they're making sense, but they're making absolutely no sense whatsoever. Terrifying. That has got to be the most terrified I've ever been in staying in a hostel. Which is so sad because I love this hostel. Anyway, that was a fitting end to my crazy week, I guess. I don't know.